This is Coco D. I can't speak long, but I'm trapped here at the cabin. Capron's lost it. He's absolutely lost it. What's that? Oh no, it's him. He's here.
Hello and welcome to Capron's Cabin. I'm your host, Corey Capron. Getting by on the lo-fi, with the hatches battened down, riding out this crazy apocalypse we find ourselves in. With me tonight is my special guest. I'm sorry, what is your name, sir? Ma'am? Person? Oh, I have many names. What, like Jean-Claude Van Damme? No, not like Jean-Claude Van Damme. I have many names. Like Prince? Because I am many, like Legion. The Paul Bettany film with the aged. Enough!
Help! Capron's absolute.
Sorry. I am your guest. Right, and I just want to know what to call you. Call me guest. Yes. Rage. Alright, well, I'm not gonna, do a dancing candle song for you, but hi, guest. So, what brings you here tonight? Rage. I'm here to ask. I mean, okay, now, normally I do the asking of questions. Do you now? Well, yeah, I'm the host. I interview. And do you think you're doing a good job at that? Well, I mean, there's room for improvement. I think I have a bad habit of talking over people. Especially my female guests. I think I come off a little mansplaining. It's work in progress. And, the technical difficulties, they don't help either. But, okay. This is me waiting for you to finish your sentence and not cut you off. Silence. Okay, I'm being quiet. So, Corey, what did you think of the movie? What movie? Which movie? I watch a lot of movies. That's kind of my thing. Passes the time in the cabin, Oh, you know which movie. Honestly, no. I just what movie? Godzilla versus Kong. Oh, well, I mean, Kingley and Coco and Dickerson already covered that. Yes, they did, didn't they? Yep, it's on the account, and they didn't have you as well. Well, yeah, no, I mean, there was a rush to, get it out and time sensing up, they didn't want you. I don't know about all that. I mean, you don't need my opinion on everything. I've been guesting a lot on the show. But don't you love Godzilla? Yeah, I'm all about some Gojira. And don't you love King Kong? Sure, yeah, it was a big impact on me as a child. I love that film. Didn't hate the remake either. Or the other remake with Peter Jackson, or, So don't you think people would want to know your opinion about it? I honestly don't know if anyone wants my opinion about anything. I just broadcast them as I go. But, really, like, the cabin's not... Ideally, it's not going to be about, like, reviewing things so much as, like, analyzing them in different ways. But come on. What did you think of it? All right, creepy voice guy. Yes, go on. I didn't like it. Why not? Wasn't it everything you wanted? Wasn't it a big dumb lizard versus monkey film? Just the way you liked it? Wasn't the action amazing? Well, look, kinda, but I mean, you love the original, don't you? Yeah, I mean, I don't like the suit work in them, but you love that film. Yeah, like I said, like the suit work's a little crazy. They got the weird squished faced Gojira, and Kong just looks like this big blocky. But yeah, no, it's a great fun film. I love the octopus fight. The powering up is bullshit. Kong having like random lightning powers and those affecting Godzilla the way they do. But it is what it is. That's Japanese Kong. He's kind of its own creature. So why don't you like the dumb new version? Well, I mean, all right. I guess we're doing this fine. So the first problem I have with the film, I guess, is as somebody who liked King of the Monsters, even though it did have like poor character work and was kind of dumb at points, like it was still within its own kind of world of dumb. Like mostly the biggest problem with Godzilla, King of the Monsters is that, the same problem with any kaiju movie. Monsters too big, monsters too heavy. But even like in its own world, there was a certain like gravitas and logic to them. Like Rodan could just level a city by flying over it because of just how much power was in, the sort of pterodactyl monster flying. There wasn't anything kind of outside of its frame, but well, so like I get that the film was a year delayed, with COVID and everything, and so things have happened since the script that obviously didn't happen before it was written, and so it's a little bit of victim of bad timing, but you got a film where, it's like the YouTube movie pitch show, I think they kind of covered most of my issues with it, honestly. In Kong Skull Island, Hollow Earth is kind of presented like there's a giant, pocket deep under the soil, where there could be like a continent size cave. It's not really presented, or maybe like a few connective tunnels that go like angularly around the planet, but they're not. It's not literally a hollow Earth. And in Godzilla vs Kong, it's literally a hollow Earth, and that's just, it's not like, hey, the physics of a monster being that big, the cubed ratio volume to surface area, it's not that kind of structural instability kind of logic. It's literally throwing away our concept of the Earth. It's hollow Earth is, in my opinion, as dumb as flat Earth, and that's kind of a big deal in 2021, because the YouTube essayist Folding Ideas did a really fantastic essay on In Search of Flat Earth, which kind of linked like the QAnon stuff that we've been dealing with these last few months, which has been going on for a couple of years building up to it, really the whole administration, how that tied into flat earthers and how just kooky conspiracy people all kind of link together. So you've got these two groups, and one of them is basically trying to discover the inverse of a flat earth. And the other group is a bunch of whacked out conspiracy theorists who are bathing in bleach, which, like, a couple years ago, I knew somebody who, like, was, like, trying to get help getting custody of their kid because their ex-partner was literally making them drink bleach. Like bleach is not something to joke about when you're talking about kooky conspiracy theories. That shit kills people. So it was just kind of hard to watch because you had crazy crackpot conspiracy people and flat earth pseudoscience people, and these are all the good guys, and these are all the people that kind of save the day and defend the monsters, and that's the B plot. And it's not just that, like, they're not fun to watch, because they're not, Millie, Bobby Brown, Joe, Billy Bob, Stranger Things girl, yes, no, she's a very talented actor. I am a big fan of her. I loved her in her Holmes film that she did for Netflix and Stranger Things. Like, I think she's got a great career ahead of her. It's nothing towards her, but she's scripted and directed to just be this crazy screaming person the whole time. The whole time she's just driven with, like, we gotta prove that Godzilla's good. And okay, yeah, like the last film, he was good, but Like, she's gone so down the rabbit hole that, she's following this podcaster and they're going to break into a place. And the bad guys, really, for the most part, are bad guys because they act like bad guys. And because the script tells us that they're bad guys. Like, it's not actually a bad idea to have a Mechagodzilla. Like, I mean, 2 out of 3 eras of Godzilla have had Mechagodzilla be something that we build to defend ourselves against Godzilla. And in both of the prior cases, it kind of whooped Godzilla's butt. Like, it's not something that, if you're evoking classic Godzilla lore, I unless you have aliens make it, Mechagodzilla is not a bad monster. I'm sorry, we think of him as a villain because of the Showa era, and we absolutely should for the Showa era because he is. But like, Millennium era, like, some of the best Millennium films are the ones around Godzilla and the pilot, and the fact that it's built around the bones of Gojira from the original film. It's Mechagodzilla's, time after time, has been more often a good guy than a bad guy. So that's the first problem. Is none of the characters I like, and they're all kind of talking about kind of triggery, irresponsible depictions of conspiracy theory stuff. And I know that crackpot conspiracy theory stuff has had a long history in this kind of film, like in 2012 and in Independence Day, going all the way back to the X-Files. I mean, that's really the root of this kind of thing. But they're not Fox Mulder. They are much more tinfoil hat. Not even tinfoil hat. I mean, they sound like, like in the next movie, they should be recruited into QAnon. Like, it's kind of that nutty. So, yeah, that's problem 1. Problem 2 kind of bleeds off of that with the Hollow Earth stuff. Like, the Hollow Earth is just so dumb. Like, it's but doesn't it explain everything? How there could be so many monsters on the Earth. Oh yeah, by the way, where are the monsters? Like, we've talked about all of these invented kaiju for this series, the legendary series kaiju. Where are they in this film? They're nowhere. We don't see anyone but Kong and Godzilla. And yes, they brought in the new snake one for like 5 minutes to show that there was something in the Hollow Earth. But, like, why aren't there a bunch of skull crawlers in the Hollow Earth? Like, I think they should have just made a film. And again, I'm not crazy about this version of the Hollow Earth, but, like, I think if you're going to do that, then it should have been like Kong and the Hollow Earth, and we just go on that adventure and leave Godzilla out of it. Because really, Godzilla it's not even like second tier in this film. Like, Godzilla is kind of, the film is about Kong and Mechagodzilla, and then Godzilla's in it. We don't go back to Friday Night Lights dude following Godzilla around. He's in it. He's supposedly following him around, though he's doing a shit job at it. But we don't see him throughout it. We don't follow Godzilla. Godzilla shows up, and most of the time that he shows up, he's Jaws. Like, he is literally Bruce the Shark. and that's not Godzilla. Like if they'd done like a little bit of it, that would have been cool. But the whole ship fight scene, like, is just Adam Wingard jerking off about Jaws. And Jaws is a fantastic movie, and I get that, but like, it was a little too much of that and not enough Godzilla. Like, I think of Godzilla as a creature that walks on the floor of the ocean. And like, I guess can swim. Like, I'm not saying he can't swim, but I don't know. It didn't feel right the way they did it. And yeah, he swam in the other film. Okay, so yeah. But I didn't like the heavy Jaws motif. I really had to turn my brain off a lot to have Godzilla and Kong stand on an aircraft carrier and it not just collapse. You're talking about 100,000-ton animal. That, like, aircraft carriers can hold a lot of weight. But they're not holding 100,000 tons. Yeah. You flip a ship over, then flip it back after it's half full of water. It doesn't just boing. So it was cool as long as I turned my brain off. And let's see. Don't you have anything nice to say about it? Yeah, like, Kong is good. Like, if you like Kong, you're more likely to like this movie. I like Kong. Kong Skull Island is probably the best movie of the whole lot. I hate to say it, but it is. And Kong is still very well performed. Kong, 100%. Nothing bad to say about him. And Godzilla. So Adam Wingard kind of went on the record as saying that, like, Toho gave him one restriction with Godzilla, which was that he couldn't be expressive, that he had to be this sort of unexpressive monster that, you know, didn't react much. And that's why he didn't make the character more, have more personality, but he tried to work in little subtle things. And, this doesn't feel like the Godzilla from the last two movies. But it is also a more expressive Godzilla than the last two movies. Like I gotta call bullshit on Adam Wingard and the whole, like, it's not expressive. This Godzilla is just this snaky, smarmy, grinning, smug, just nasty Godzilla. And it really pissed me off. Like, every time they have a close-up of him, like, he's cracking some smile. He's cracking some, I beat you. And it's just like, no, that's not the Godzilla we've seen already. And it's like, if you want to play Godzilla as a villain, I don't know. Like, don't do that. Don't establish Mechagodzilla as early as they did. You know, it's very clear that Apex, the company that's going after him, is evil and up to something. And it's not very far past, like, the boat battle that we see. It's Mechagodzilla. And, yeah, I did not like this version of Godzilla at all. I didn't like how he did not feel, in a world that they had created to be kind of a, you know, like, if you look at, like, the Millennium era, and, you know, like, the Heisei era is mostly with, like, a couple micro reboots in it, notably Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah. For the most part, from Godzilla 85 to Godzilla vs. Destroyer, they're all in the same universe. Like, they are all sequels. They have one character that is in all of them, or at least I think starting with Biollante, who's a reoccurring character throughout them. It is a series of sequels. Millennium, each film's kind of its own thing. And the Legendary series is much more like the Heisei series, in that these are all meant to be in the same universe. They are meant to be sequels to one another. And while the first two films feel much more grounded, Godzilla 2014 and Kong Skull Island, they don't... There's nothing in Godzilla King of the Monsters that breaks the rules. It goes wackier, but it's in the same universe. Godzilla vs. Kong does not feel in the same universe. You know, everything to that point is relatively grounded technology for the time. Like, there's a big carrier plane that's a little sci-fi, I guess. But for the most part, you're dealing with subs and battleships. But this film has Mechagodzilla. This film has, you know, these plasmatic hovercrafts. And this Mechagodzilla is, again, like the Hollow Earth thing, it's a level, you know, there's not any space tech. Like, it's got the amount of, because the script says so, sci-fi leaps of bullshit. You have King Ghidorah's skull being, and like, I don't even see brain matter inside it. It's just King Ghidorah's skull being used as this like neurocomputer to psychically control Godzilla. I mean, Mechagodzilla. And it makes no sense. And it's like waved away. Doesn't matter. Just, you want the cool stuff. Here's the cool stuff. And it's like, okay, like if the Legendary series was a, you know, standalone movies, and you wanted to have one balls out whack job movie, I would be pretty okay with that. Like, don't get me wrong. But if you're gonna have a series of consistent sequels, this thing just jumped all the sharks. The thing rode a shark jumping over sharks. Like the Hollow Earth. What is lighting? Like, there's so many cooler ways they could have done the Hollow Earth. Like, what is the light source down there? Like, they go into this you know, like Elysium, you know, inverted world on top of itself, you know, ceiling and floor jungle world, which has no alien flora or fauna. Like, things that have never seen the surface in millions of years look exactly like the surface. Yeah, okay, the fauna, okay, the giant crabs and stuff, but the flora, like the jungle, like, looks like just normal jungle, and it should look like something that has not been exposed to the surface world in billions of years. And the light source, I have no fucking clue what it is. It's like there's a sun inside the planet, and it's not the magma core. It's not. It's just this white ball that's on the edge of the frame a couple times that they kind of quickly are like, yeah, let's not look at that. Let's not pay attention to the light source. And it's not like, it could have been so cool if they had done the Hollow Earth. Like, let's say there was some kind of magma core. Then the light would be radiating a direction. Like, what if all the sunlight was coming at them horizontally from one way and just casting these big shadows, just voids of black besides it. Like, that could have been so stylistic and cool. But, like, light makes no sense in the Hollow Earth. And, again, like, it just appears that the world is, coreless. And then, you're getting a bit off track, aren't you? Yeah, no, I mean, like, Coco usually kind of goes through the plot points with me, and oh, are you lost? Well, it's just going to be scouting order. I don't like doing reviews, man. Like, so, tell me, weren't the fights still kind of sweet? The Hong Kong fight is pretty awesome. Yeah. But the setup for it is bullshit. What do you mean? I'm talking about another problem I have with Godzilla in this film is, okay, so at the end of King of the Monsters, right? He gets nuclearly supercharged, and he's got like his, Kamehameha, not even Kamehameha. He's like got his nuclear blast bubble coming off him. He's just radiating death, and like I get that that's drained out, but also it's drained out. So, like in an interview, Adam Wingard was like, something that the other films were kind of sketchy about. I wanted to do more. It was just, I love that atomic breath, and everybody else is really like kind of with it. I wanted to do a lot, and oh my god, does he use the atomic breath a lot in this film? Like, yeah, no, you look back at Godzilla 2014, you have this sense of like, this is like his special weapon. Like, this is not something that he has an infinite, amount of. He is barfing up his nuclear fallout at you. And, each film he uses it a little bit more. But Godzilla vs. Kong, yes, fall asleep. Close your eyes.
Made it out. If you're gonna trap me here, Capron, I got a pin.
What? Nothing. Continue. Where was I? Atomic breath. Oh, yeah. So, atomic breath. He uses it crazy often in this film. Like, it's like punch, tail, atomic breath. It's like driving home that the one thing, like the 2014 Godzilla versus had it fought this Kong, it would have been kind of an interesting match because they didn't go crazy of the atomic breath. And the idea was if Kong got hit by that breath once, he'd be down. Like, game over. But in this, he's got to dodge freaking laser beams everywhere. Just atomic breath cutting through. There's a part in the Hong Kong battle where it's like Shin Gojira, where he's just like slicing through all the buildings. So that was a weird, like, power level jump again. It doesn't feel like Godzilla. Not the Godzilla they've set up anyway. But the real bullshit thing is how it starts the Hong Kong fight. Godzilla can just sense what other monsters are doing anywhere in the world. That's why it's attacking all the apex locations, because they're building Mega Godzilla. Like, he can be across the globe. They turn on Mecha Godzilla. He's like, whoop, gotta go fight that. So Kong is in the Hollow Earth, and he finds this gigantic Kong temple with this power source, and he turns it on. He gets his supercharged axe, and Godzilla just like senses that this thing came back on, and is like, nope. So he turns around, he squats down, and he atomic breaths the ground. He goes all the way from China to the center of the earth to wreck this pyramid, temple, shrine, power generator thing. He atomic breaths through the fucking earth. And I'm just like, he's never been able to do that before. He can just punch through the whole planet now? Because, like, they went into the Hollow Earth from Antarctica. Like, China and Antarctica, like, they're, God, it's so dumb. It's so dumb. And, like, look, I love the Showa era. The Showa era is filled with dumb stuff. But it's in a world of dumb. Like Mechagodzilla, flying double kick bullshit with Jet Jaguar holding the monster. You know, just all the crazy things. Godzilla curling his tail up and atomic breath thing the air to fly him across the planet. Stupid as hell, but it's in the same quirky, goofy world of the Showa films. And honestly, I think most people would agree that those scenes are in some of the dumbest Showa movies. The shark has been jumped in those too, so we like those as guilty pleasures. But the Kong Godzilla films, they had humor and stuff, but they kind of took themselves seriously. And so doing this level of derpy bullshit in 2021 without, I don't know, without just an extra layer of swagger throughout these films that there just isn't, of like you kind of need somebody to like all of a sudden go, there's no brainwave. Like Rampage did a better job at doing King Kong versus Godzilla than King Kong versus Godzilla. Or Godzilla versus Kong, I should say. Don't want to mix the two films up. Like, and so, yeah, it was just... I also don't like the design of Mechagodzilla. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. It's okay. Just let it all out. Let it all out. Do you need like a Ricola or something? You're pretty like raspy there. I'm fine. Okay. But yeah, no, I mean, like, if you enjoyed the film, you enjoyed the film. I enjoyed it. That's cool and all. It's just, I think it would have been really cool to do something more like the Heisei era, where there was just a grounded gravity to these monsters, and they were taken seriously, even when they were kind of quirky. Like, I wanted Heisei out of Legendary, and you know, I like the first. I like this one the least, is what I'm saying. It's not doing anything interesting with its people characters. It's a little irresponsible. And again, I realize that this came out a year. This was set to come out almost 2 years ago at this point. Things have happened now that it's unfortunate timing. But still, all the characters are dumb, and I don't like them. And we follow them through much of the movie. And they're really good actors being wasted in this. Like, again, like, you could have just followed the guy designing Mechagodzilla. Like, he could have been. He comes off as this, like, I am the world's most interesting man. I will destroy Godzilla. And it's just mustache twiddling. Like, couldn't he have just, like, earnestly been like a Tony Stark character trying to make a suit of armor around the world? Couldn't they have done something like that? And his daughter is terrible. Oh my God. She's just, hi, I'm a privileged bitch for the sake of being a privileged bitch. I don't like any of you, and you will all have to bow before me. Lick my boots, scum. Nyeh, nyeh, nyeh. And then Godzilla crushes her, and you're like, yes. But it's not even like, yes, like a satisfying villain. You know, it's not that, like, Hulk smashing Loki. It's just like, oh God, we don't have to hear her talk anymore. And that's not catharsis. That's just relief. And you don't want your audience to feel relief, because that means they've not been enjoying the film. And they're not enjoying it now. It's just they're not suffering as much. Every scene that she was in, I hated. And again, I don't think it's the actress' fault. I think it's the direction in the script. Podcaster guy, just go away. Like, every time he started to be an interesting character, the script would just steamroll him. Like, I think those three actors had a blast, and I think they were all funny group of people, and I'm glad they did. But the characters that they then, whenever action had to happen, were asked to play were just garbage. Yeah, like, it's just a waste of talent. The action scenes could have been so much better without really changing any beats to them per se. If I just cared about both monsters more. I cared about Kong, but also I'm a Godzilla guy. So the fact that this Godzilla just didn't feel like, you know, like when the trailers for this came out, one of the things I kept going on about is that iconic part where Kong's coming down with the axe. I was like, wouldn't it be cool if he comes down on Godzilla's face and it's Mecha Godzilla, like in the old Showa version, where originally he just had like a bio flesh, like a Terminator suit of Godzilla flesh over him that initially had to be burned away and then revealed Mecha Godzilla. Like that, like, you know, if you're looking for cool moments for the sake of cool moments, that would have been phenomenal. And that would have explained why this Godzilla doesn't feel like Godzilla. But no, it's just Godzilla now has this kind of not, you know, there's kind of a precedent for it, but like much more amped up, hyper sense of where everything is on the planet and what's going down, and just being a dick about it. And we don't get to see any of the other monsters. We don't get to see any of the other stakes of what happened with them throughout it. Like, you know, we could have seen him being territorial with other monsters. We could have seen those monsters being killed off by something mysterious, leading to Mechagodzilla. Like, you know, we could have been further along in the development. Like, instead of starting to build Mechagodzilla, what if the film had him, you know, being test run in real life by killing off other kaiju? And that's what got Godzilla in a rage. Like, there's so many ways you could have done it other than what they did, which just felt like too many ideas in too short a film and too much time spent on dumb things. So what you're saying is I didn't like it. I want to like it. I've watched it again, tried to like it. I assumed maybe I missed some of the grandeur because of it not being on a big screen, but no, I hope they do better with the next one. I'm not against Millie Bobby Brown, you know, being back in it. I've heard they're talking about her being in the next one. There's still so many things that'd be fun to do. Like, have him go against Guy again. But I want to see more Rodan and Mothra and Godzilla. And I want Gator Bear back. Like, you look at that first film and he's Gator Bear. He's not I forget what Gojira means. Gojira is like gorilla whale. But the legendary is Gator Bear because he looks like a cross between a bear and a gator. And I'm all about that. But ever since the first film, he's been getting progressively more thick. And I'm okay with some thick Godzilla. I'm all about some thick Godzilla. But like now he's just got this like little head and this wonky body. And it's like there's multiple Godzillas. And again, the continuity, their sequels should be the same Godzilla. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. Yes, I get it. You're starting to ramble, Corey. Well, yeah, I mean, you're not exactly giving a lot of input. What did you think of the film? It doesn't matter what I thought. All that matters is that you get tired and fall asleep. What? Nothing. Anything else? Yeah, not really. Honestly, I gotta get, working on the generator. I gotta go feed the possums and the raccoons and stuff. The cabin of the mind doesn't run itself and all. Normally this is where I ask guests if they've got anything they want to promote.
I'm really sorry we didn't invite you, Capron. Can I go home now?
Yeah. And I mean, you want to talk about character development. Like, again, it's hard to keep coming back to this, but it's like the original Mothra, character development, Dogora.
Rogan looking acts into a perfect.
I think it's been a while since I've seen Rodan, but I think Rodan was
and okay, so
decent characters.
Why do
maybe
they
not? But
Godzilla? I mean, they discovered this.
then
this
the
and
Heisei
then
era Arthur films.
doesn't ever get
Mothra.
released. Why do
have
they
a kaiju movie?
they do like
families. You
tap
have
in
not the
and
point
read
of them.
from
It's
and
like
they start to
and thus
they upload
contemporary
adaptational
films. You got like
drives me
character driven.
because
as much as any found
none of
footage
it
Gojira,
why
the
it's not
original
like a
Godzilla, Colossal
is
not a
all
big
about
hit, but it was a giant monster movie. It is completely
Dr. Serizawa.
Most of the best stuff in that is the character.
Is a phenomenal
character-driven
movie. It doesn't make any sense from that why they
Most
of the
I don't
whole
know.
eventually they
idea
got
of,
the power into where the
it's
monkey
so
kaiju
much
not having
Everybody, this has been Capron's Cabin, and I need help.
like care about or some kind of honestly I think comes from the whole cosmic jelly because the script tells us fuel source to get to the end. To just like basically reverse the polarity,
a three-way battle between Godzilla, Kong, and Mechagodzilla.